Okay, so I'm so sorry if that it was the case for just now. I think there's a problem with the YouTube today because it's not happening. Okay, apologies for that. Okay, so we are already at part two. Okay, so what we can do here is that I will show you the recording later. Okay, so if we miss the first part, it's fine. I'm going to put it on YouTube so that you can look at it later. Okay, so this is the this is the sample that you have for the previous question. Okay, the question is, okay, your class has been discussing how should they spend their money, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about what you would spend your money on. Okay, so what would you like to buy, reasons for your choice, and why do you usually buy these things? Okay, okay, so this is the, let me just, okay, this is the sample. Okay, we all need money in order to buy something that we like. Nothing is free in this world, and therefore when we have money we need to use it wisely. Okay, if it is spent on the things that we don't need, we will waste our money. Okay, there are a lot of good and worthy things you can buy. For example, food, clothes, and books. Okay, as for me, if I have money, I would like to buy a guitar, and acoustic guitar has been in my wish list since I started watching song covers on YouTube. Okay, I've been dreaming on playing it, but I haven't had enough money to purchase it. Okay, the reasons why I want to buy a guitar is because I love music and I know how to play the piano before, but I want to learn something new. It would be amazing if I get to play more than one instrument. Moreover, I want to learn how to play the guitar by myself. I can do that by watching tutorials on YouTube, and in that way, I don't have to waste money on guitar lessons. Okay, all right. So that is one of the examples. So how did these students get a 5 for content? Okay, so the question is asking you to talk about what would you like to buy, reasons, and where. So what would you like to buy, reasons, and where? Okay, so it's mentioned in the text that this person wanted to buy. What did this person wanted to buy? It's wanting to buy song covers. Okay, meaning that this person wants to buy acoustic guitar. Okay, so acoustic guitar is what this person wants to buy. Okay, so the reasons was because it has been watching song covers on YouTube. I've been dreaming on playing it, but I haven't had enough money to purchase it. Okay, so that's the reason why I want to buy a guitar, because I love music and I know how to play the piano before, but I want to learn more than one lah, so it would be amazing. So all right, so this person is going to buy an acoustic guitar because he wants to know more about music. And where do you think that they want to buy the guitar? I think it's mentioned here. I haven't had enough money to purchase. Okay, so buy guitar is because I love music. I know how to play the piano before. I want to learn something new. It would be amazing if I got to play more than one instrument. Moreover, I want to learn how to play the guitar myself. Okay, I can do that by watching tutorials on YouTube. In that way, I don't have to waste money on lessons. Okay, so the next question was, where do you usually buy these things? Is it mentioned that where did he buy these things? Okay. Okay, I started. Okay, I've been dreaming playing it, but I haven't had enough money. Okay, so how to play, because I want to learn something new. Okay, I got to play more than the instrument. Moreover, I want to learn how to play the guitar by myself. Okay, by watching tutorials on YouTube, and that way I don't have to money lessons. Okay, so get the next question. Okay, so it's not mentioned here. Where did he buy the guitar? I think. Can you see any indication that the guitar should be bought anywhere? Can you find them in the text here? Can you find anything? Okay, so I think it's mentioned here. Um, okay, it's mentioned that this person wants to buy at a shop. Okay, it's the text is cut in half, but it's fine. So the content is 5. The communicative achievement is 5 because it follows exactly what the question wants. Organization is 5, and the language is 5. Okay, all right. So that is how you get a 5 for all the aspects there. So it's mentioned about the content, where did he need to buy, or reason, and the things that he wants to buy. Communicative achievements means that this person has used all the right tone for this writing. Organization, okay, the use of therefore, for example, moreover, in that way. So it is the everything is flow well in the writing, and language is as you can see that there are not many of grammatical and vocabulary mistakes. So this candidate get a 5. So this candidate will get a total of 20 marks. Okay. All right, so that is one of the good samples. Okay, this one is what we call the not bad lah, but what we call something that need to improve on lah. So let's read the text together. Okay. The reason why you must to save your money, because we can buy anything. We can buy anything with this money. Okay, money can make you survive when you at the to buy a thing that you must have. Okay, I would like to buy a pair of shoes because outside there have many logo or any brand that make us so interested about that. Okay, the design about any types of shoes has a unique design and the quality is not same. I usually buy this thing at shop or search at an online shop. Okay, it has a very different price between buying at the shop and buying online. So as you can see there for this write-up, okay, the content is only 3 because it only mentioned about he or she wanted to buy a pair of shoes, and then it's mentioned the reason, the design about any type of shoe that has a unique design, online shopper. Okay, so although it has reasons and the items and also the place that they want to buy, but everything is quite unclear, tak jelas lah. Okay, so the content is 3. The communicative achievement, as you can see there, it's almost like without a direction. So the highest this candidate can get is 3. For organization, as you can see there, it's very difficult to follow the write-up. Okay, this person only use because, about, and that. Okay, so that is one of the reasons why, and the language is only 2. Okay, so that is what's going on for this sample. Okay. Okay, let's look at another question for part 2. Okay, your class has been discussing how people nowadays cannot live without a smartphone, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about how smartphone has affected people's lives. Okay, so we are talking about a smartphone. Okay, a smartphone, and ask you to write an essay about how smartphone has affected people's lives. Okay, next bullet. Let's look at the first bullet. Okay, in your essay, you should write about why people have smartphone. Okay, this one, positive aspects of having a smartphone, and the third one is negative aspects of having a smartphone. Okay, let's look at the exercise that we can do together. Let's clear them out. Okay, opening the tab. Okay. Okay, let me just share screen. Okay. All right, I need you to be with me on this one. Okay, on for you on the YouTube Channel, can you answer this on the live chat section? Okay, we can do this together. Okay, we'll do this together. Okay, I'm just going to enlarge it. Oh my god, it's cut in half. Okay, I can't do that. All right, so let's do this together. Okay. A smartphone is a must-have item in our society. Most people think smartphones have many positive aspects while others may disagree. Okay, so what is that? The first one, the first bullet, is it conclusion? Is it second advantage? Is it first advantage? Is it second reason advantage? Is it first reason advantage? Is it introduction? Or the others? What do you think the first one is? Can you type in your answer on your live chat section so that we can be together on this one? Okay, Haikal said introduction. Anyone else? Okay, introduction. Anything else? Okay, introduction. Okay, introduction. Okay, right, very good. Okay, so let's look at the thing. Okay, introduction. Okay, how about the second one? Okay, it is undeniable that a smartphone has many positive aspects. What is that? Is it conclusion? Okay. So to start with, it allows people to communicate with each other. Okay. So that was the sentence that we're looking for. To start with, it allows people to communicate with each other. Okay, so what is that? Is it a first advantage, second advantage, second reason advantage, first reason advantage? What is that? What's the answer for this one? To start with, it allows people to communicate with each other. What is that? Okay. Okay, Haikal said first advantage. How about the others? Okay, first advantage. Anyone else? Any other answers? Okay, let's try. Most of you answer first advantage. Let's try by putting first advantage. Okay. Not only that, we can call and send messages with a smartphone. They can also contact others through social media and even video calls. Okay, what is that? Is that a second advantage or is that a first reason advantage? What is that? Not only we can call and send messages with a smartphone, they can also contact others through social media and even video calls. What is that? Is that first advantage? Is it a second advantage? Okay, this is the answer for the previous one, I think. Okay. Okay, Haikal said second advantage. Let's look at other answers for that one. Any other answers? Okay, we should have trust in Haikal. Okay, so Haikal said it's second advantage. Okay, how about the next one? In addition, a smartphone has become a resource of knowledge. People can search for information in the smartphone. Okay, so this one, what is that? In addition, a smartphone has become a resource of knowledge. What is that? In addition, a smartphone has become a resource of knowledge. What is that? Is that second advantage or is it the reason? Okay. All right. Let me just do this one first for you. Okay. So perhaps this one is actually this one is reason. Okay. This one is actually second advantage. This is first reason advantage, and this one is second reason advantage. Okay. So after that, after you talk about advantage, okay, you talk about the disadvantage because the question wants advantage and disadvantage. So the third paragraph, you are going to talk about disadvantage. The second paragraph is going to be about advantage. So the disadvantage is okay. Firstly, people have become addicted to smartphones and hardly put them down. Okay, hence people have less real communication. Okay. Secondly, causes many people to waste their time as they spend too much time spent on smartphone. Okay, so this is the first reason as disadvantage, and it causes many people to waste their time as they spend too much time spent on smartphone. So that would be second disadvantage and reason. Okay, and the last one is conclusion and personal opinion. Okay, so that is how you should do all the okay, this is how you should do your part 2. Okay. Okay. So that's how you should do your part 2. Let me just share the screen first. Okay. Okay, so when you are writing your part 2, please make sure that you touch whatever it is that they want you to talk about. It could be positive, it could be negative, and the reason. So when you are writing positive and negative, so this one is could be in your second paragraph. This one should be in your third paragraph. Okay. Why people have smartphone? Okay, this one has to be in your introduction. This is first paragraph. Okay. And the last one would be the conclusion lah. The conclusion has to be your fourth paragraph. It has to talk about your personal opinion, and also you need to take sides. Okay, what do you think? Do you think that the the positive effects of smartphones outweigh the negative aspects, or do you think that we should just not using smartphone at all? Okay, so that is how you should do your personal opinion. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, I'm giving you quite a few minutes to look at the part 3. We are moving to part 3 already. Okay, the story. Okay. Okay, look at the questions first. I'm giving you a few minutes to look at the questions first. Okay, so right, so this is the question for part three. Okay, this is a story question. Okay, okay. So your teacher has asked you to write a story for a school magazine. The story must have the title, "A Dream Comes True." Your story should include a description of the dream and how the dream is achieved. Okay, before we move forward with this question, I would just like to ask you, okay, when you see this question, what do you think the dream here means? Is it the dream that you experience when you are asleep, or is it the ambition or the goal that you want to achieve? Okay, so please share your answer on the live chat section. What do you think the dream in this question means? Is it the one that you experience in your sleep, or is it the goal or the dream that you want to achieve? Okay, which one do you think for this question? Share your answer in the live chat section. Okay, Haikal said ambition or goal. How about, okay, JC say that it's ambition. Anyone else? Any other answers for this one? Okay, ambition. Anyone else? Okay, very good. Okay, so most of you answered it correctly. It's about an ambition. It's not something about the thing that you explain you experience in your dream. Okay, so that is about the story. Okay, we have another question on quiz days. Can you can you answer them together? Do you plan when you write your story? Yes or no? Okay, only five of you thinks that they plan their story. Okay, do you know why is it important that you want to plan your story? Okay, so there is an importance to it. Okay, so because when you plan your story, there will be no problem of saying, "Teacher, I didn't finish my story." Because when you didn't plan, when you just straight away write, you think that you know what you're supposed to write, and then halfway when you were writing, you lost your train of thoughts. And when you lost your train of thoughts because you didn't put it down earlier or you didn't plan your essay, it's very difficult for you to get it back, and you will definitely end up not completing your essay. Okay, so that's the importance of planning to write your story. Okay, another question, another quizzes question. If you can just participate in it. What tenses should we use when writing a story? Okay. When you use what tenses we use when you're writing a story, you actually use both past and present tenses. You know why? Because past tenses we use that when we are telling the story without using the direct speech, but when we use direct speech, which is what you call dialogue, we use present tense. Okay, past tense is when you use when we didn't use any dialogue. So If they didn't use any dialogue, it has to be in past tense. So there are both past and present tenses in your story. Okay, but it's only for past tense. Present tense is only for direct speech or dialogue. The others has to be in past tense. Okay. All right. Let's look at the next slide. Okay, writing a story, a strong story, you need to follow a complete plot. Okay, past tenses has to be past simple, past continuous, and past perfect, and show, don't, tell. Okay, that is writing a strong story. Okay, you need to follow a complete plot, means that it has to have progression. It has to have introduction, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. And past tenses, okay, you need to use past simple, past continuous, and past perfect. And you need to show, don't tell. And this is how this is I'm going to teach you how later. Okay, so that's how you should write a strong story. So this is the plot that I mentioned just now. Okay, so for exposition or introduction, you need to set the time, the place, and the society, and also you need to introduce the characters here. Okay, and then we have the rising action. We have conflict between characters emerging, and then we have climax, the most dramatic point. Okay, it has to be in conflict and tension intensifies, and turning point. And then we have falling action. Conflict starts to resolve here, and resolution is the closure for all the characters. Okay, so this is the question that we have just now. Okay, so the story should include the description, means to say that what is the dream that you are talking about, and then how means that the process how the goal or the ambition that you do to achieve the dream. Okay, how did you achieve it? Okay, this is an example of how the story should be lah. Okay, let me just put it in full screen. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the example here. Okay, exposition. Ahmad is a small town boy born and raised in a traditional Malay family. Okay, this is a introduction lah. The character Ahmad is a small town boy born and raised in traditional Malay family. Always dreamed of becoming an artist who paints pictures. Ahmad wanted to be like Banksy. Banksy is like the famous street artist in London, whose art sparks societal change. Okay, so that is Ahmad. And then the rising action is no one in Ahmad's family neither understand nor support his dream. And then Ahmad's father wanted him to take over his sundry shop. And then for climax, Ahmad was commissioned to create a satirical piece for a newspaper. But Ahmad's father strongly opposes the idea. Ahmad left his family to chase his dream. And then the falling action is Ahmad became a well-known artist. And then Ahmad's father finally accepted Ahmad's dream. And the resolution is Ahmad published a series of art piece of his life in a Malay village. So this is how you should plan your story. Okay, when you're planning your story, make sure that the first thing that you need to do is that you have a plot to follow. Okay, so make sure that all the components of exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution are there. Okay, meaning to say that your story need to have all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. Okay, without all this, it will be a troublesome thing to actually read your story. I know that some students, they like to use the technique of flashbacks or fast forward. My advice to you is that if you are not really have good control of your language, please don't do so. Okay, just follow exactly all the flows of the story, then you'll be fine lah. If you attempt to use flashbacks and stuff like that, if you're not really well versed or even proficient in your English language, it's very difficult to follow your story, and your marks will be penalized only based on the flow of your story. Because when it comes to story, sequence plays a very important part. Okay, let's move on to the next question, to the next technique. Okay, so for stories, I always tell my students, I always teach my students, we need to show our reader and don't tell. Means that show here means that you you give the reader the opportunity to visualize the story, okay, uh, to tap into their vivid imagery rather than you telling them what's going on. Okay, so let's look at the differences between show sentences and tell sentences. Okay, show sentences. The dry orange leaves crunched under my feet as I pulled the collar up on my coat. Okay, that is a show sentences sentence. For tell sentence, it is mentioned there. I walked through the forest. It was already fall and I was getting cold. Okay, so that is tell sentence. Okay, so what's the difference? Okay, the difference between show and tell is that when I write tell sentence and when you read the tell sentence, it doesn't spark any imagery on your mind, right? It's just we walked through the forest, it was already fall and I was getting cold. It's quite dry, the sentence. But when it comes to show sentence, the dry orange leaves crunched under my feet, you can almost feel that the leaf was crunched. Crunched means dipijak lah oleh kaki awak, and I pulled the collar up on my coat. So you can actually visualize what's going on. Okay, let's look at another tell sentence. Michael was terribly afraid of the dark. That's it. But let's look at the show sentence. As his mother switched off the light and left the room, Michael tensed. He huddled under the covers, gripped the sheets, and held his breath as the wind brushed past the curtain. Okay? That is the difference between show and tell sentences. Okay, so these are tips for writing a show sentences. Okay, it creates a sense of setting. Okay, so when you're trying to write show sentences, try to create a sense of setting. Perhaps you put yourself like perhaps in a very serene Malay village, for example. If you are talking about Ahmad's story just now, okay, you can just talk about how Ahmad was enjoying his evening in a village. Okay, perhaps you can say that that evening Ahmad was sitting on a paddy field trying to breathe his this fresh air that he always loved, the crisp air that always reminds him of the serenity of the village, and also the green paddy field that always invites him to this calm and peaceful place in this village. So you have to put sense of setting, meaning where you are, what was there on the place that you've mentioned. Okay, you can also use dialogue. Okay, this one is something very popular among students. You can use dialogue to show character. And if in doubt, always describe action. Okay, meaning to say that specific on one action, if that action is very significant. Okay, and use strong details, but don't overdo it. Okay, right. We have another question, another quiz. Can we try this one, class? Okay, which of these sentences are show sentences? Okay, congratulations, Umaira, you are still leading. Okay, which of these sentences are show sentences? Show sentences, we used it to tap into reader's imagery. So the show sentences are John wiped his tears down as, okay, that is one of the show sentences, and this house smell like dust, etc., etc. Okay, those are show sentences. Normally, tell sentences they are shorter than show sentences. That's the giveaway lah. Okay. All right. All right. We are already in. We are already moving to film review. Before that, I'm going to allow you to ask me any questions on the live chat section. Okay. Um, Ask me any questions before I move further. Okay, so that we can clear things up before we move on. Okay. Any questions that you have? Please share them on the live chat section if you do have one. Any questions? I'm giving like 1 minute of taking a breather before we move on to the next question, the next part of the essay for part 3. Okay, I'm waiting on the live chat section. Any question? No? No question? Okay, right. Let's move on. Okay, I'm moving to a film review right now. Okay, let us watch this video together and then work out the answers together lah. Okay, let me just share the screen for the video. Okay, when we are answering this question on this one, use your live chat section because, like I said, it's nice to have people responding to my question rather than me talking to myself. Okay, all right. Let me just share the screen here. Okay, make sure that you have your volume in the maximum as possible so that you can hear the audio here. Okay, this is an example of a movie review, but in this example, you will learn the aspects of movie review that you can use when you write a film review. Okay. Okay, this is interactive mode. So when you know the answer, just type in the live chat section, right? Okay.
When I first heard the name Parasite, I assumed this was a horror film. Now, this film does have horrifying elements, but it is not, as such, a horror film. No, this is more of a sort of slow burn family drama with a little bit of super black comedy like sprinkled over the top.
Okay, I'm going to play the audio again if you didn't manage to catch it.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel that I haven't uploaded in for a little while, but here I am today. I saw a movie that just inspired me in such a way that I knew I had to review it here on my channel, so that's what we're doing today. I'm coming to you today from, not from my house, obviously. I'm in the studio where I work, one of the studios. I might be filming more from the studio just because it's a little bit more relaxed of an environment here on the weekends than coming to you from my share house, which gets very busy and loud and noisy and distracting on the weekends. Parasite. When I first heard the name Parasite, I assumed this was a horror film. Now, this film does have horrifying elements, but it is not, as such, a horror film. No, this is more of a sort of slow burn family drama with a little bit of super black comedy like sprinkled over the top.
Okay, what are the genres of Parasite? Okay, you can select two, right? Share your answers on the live chat section. What are the genres of Parasite? Select two. Okay, I'm waiting for your answers. She mentioned just now, what are the genres of Parasite? Anyone? What are the genres of Parasite? You can choose two. Okay. We have family drama and black comedy. Anyone else? Thank you, Heiko, for responding. Okay, let's try the answer. Very good, Haikal. Okay, we are moving on to the next question. Okay, get ready.
Top. This is written and directed by Bong Joon. About this down on their luck family, mother, father, daughter, son. The four of them are, they're not doing so well in their day-to-day lives. They're not living in the nicest part of town. But when they come across an opportunity to work for a family in a really nice neighborhood, a wealthy upper-class family, of course, they're going to seize this opportunity with both hands. So one of the family members begins working in the wealthy household, then recommends their sibling, then the sibling recommends their parent, then the parent recommends their other parent, and before you know, the entire family is working within the household. The way I described it is way too normal and...
Okay, which element of the film is she talking about? Okay, is it the character, the plot, or the soundtrack? What do you think? Which one do you think that she's talking about just now? Okay, just share your answer in the live chat section, or let's hear it together.
And directed by Bong Joon-ho. About this down on their luck family, mother, father, daughter, son. The four of them are, they're not doing so well in their day-to-day lives. They're not living in the nicest part of town. But when they come across an opportunity to work for a family in a really nice neighborhood, a wealthy upper-class family, of course, they're going to seize this opportunity with both hands. So one of the family members begins working in the wealthy household, then recommends their sibling, then the sibling recommends their parent, then the parent recommends their other parent, and before you know, the entire family is working within the household. The way I described it is way too normal and...
Okay, which element in the film is she talking about? Okay, is it the character, plot, or soundtrack? Share your answer on the live chat section. Okay, Mo says the character. Okay, let's check if that's the correct one. Okay, she is actually talking about the plot. How does the story progress? Okay.
Normal and mundane, because this film has a lot of twists and turns and kind of unfolds in a way that you wouldn't expect. It's kind of one of those rides that you just have to hold on, keep your arms and legs inside the carriage, and just hold on for dear life. What is so great about this film is first and foremost the characters. Each of the characters, every single family member of both the poorer family and the family with more money, they're all so incredibly human. It's not just that there is one family with less money and one family with more money, and they're kind of polar opposites of each other. Each of them have personalities. There's no stereotyping here. They all have so many layers. They all are imperfect in their own way. For example, the rich father is kind of arrogant and aloof and cold. He's easy to dislike, but he does have his moments of vulnerability later on, and you do see that he is a good person. There's a scene earlier on in the film where the son...
Okay, which element of the film that is being discussed here? Okay, is it the plot, characters, or the soundtrack? I'll play it again.
Because this film has a lot of twists and turns and kind of unfolds in a way that you wouldn't expect. It's kind of one of those rides that you just have to hold on, keep your arms and legs inside the carriage, and just hold on for dear life. What is so great about this film is first and foremost the characters. Each of the characters, every single family member of both the poorer family and the family with more money, they're all so incredibly human. It's not just that there is one family with less money and one family with more money, and they're kind of polar opposites of each other. Each of them have personalities. There's no stereotyping here. They all have so many layers. They all are imperfect in their own way. For example, the rich father is kind of arrogant and aloof and cold. He's easy to dislike, but he does have his moments of vulnerability later on, and you do see that he is a good person. There's a scene earlier on in the film where the son...
Okay, which element class? Can you share on your live chat section for that one, the one that she's mentioned about just now? Okay. I can't say the character, the others. Okay, let's see if that's the correct one. Okay, let's see if that's the correct answer. Very good. Okay, that she's talking about character. All right, let's move on to the next question.
Kevin has some documents forged to say that he's a college-educated tutor when he's not. And the father is so impressed with the son's tenacity and the quality of these forged documents. He's really genuinely proud of his son in this moment, and it's really quite touching. So even though the family are all in on this sort of deceitful hoodwinking of the wealthy family, they have... they're just looking out for each other, and they're just trying to do the best that they can. And it's moments like these, squeezed between that necessity of survival and having to put food on the table, that make the film so touching and also really bleak and sad as well. There you have it, guys.
Okay, what is she talking about here? Okay, is it the highlight of the film? Highlight means a specific incident or a specific event in the film. The beautiful cinematography, or is it the visual of the film, and also the awesome soundtrack? Which do you think is the answer for this one? Okay, I'll play this audio again so that you have the opportunity to look at it again and choose the correct answer.
Has some documents forged to say that he's a college-educated tutor when he's not. And the father is so impressed with the son's tenacity and the quality of these forged documents. He's really genuinely proud of his son in this moment, and it's really quite touching. So even though the family are all in on this sort of deceitful hoodwinking of the wealthy family, they have... they're just looking out for each other, and they're just trying to do the best that they can. And it's moments like these, squeezed between that necessity of survival and having to put food on the table, that make the film so touching and also really bleak and sad as well. There you have it, guys.
Okay, which is the answer for this one? Okay, Haikal said the highlight. Anyone else? Okay, let's look whether Haikal's answer is the correct one. Very good, Haikal. That is the correct answer. Okay.
There you have it, guys. They are my thoughts on Bong Joon-ho's latest brilliant film, Parasite. Certainly right up there with one of the best things I've seen all year. It is so beautifully done with such a light touch in the places that you want a light hand, and then it kind of goes really, really super crazy and is very visceral as a film as we go later on, and it leaves you just... I was probably shaking my head a lot and doing this face a lot. Yeah, a lot. Don't forget, you can also...
Okay, what is she doing here just now? Okay, is she recommending the film, summarizing the film, or criticizing the film? Okay, let's play it again so that you can know which one to choose.
Like these, squeezed between that necessity of survival and having to put food on the table, that make the film so touching and also really bleak and sad as well. There you have it, guys. They are my thoughts on Bong Joon-ho's latest brilliant film, Parasite. Certainly right up there with one of the best things I've seen all year. It is so beautifully done with such a light touch in the places that you want a light hand, and then it kind of goes really, really super crazy and is very like visceral as a film as we go later on, and it leaves you just, I was probably like shaking my head a lot and doing this face a lot. Yeah, a lot. Don't forget you can also
Okay, what is she doing here? Okay, answer, class. Anybody? Is she recommending the film, summarizing the film, or criticizing the film? What's the answer for this one? Okay, I think for this one, the answer is okay, recommending the film. Some say criticizing the film. Okay, we are quite divided on this one. So the popular answer will be recommending the film. Let's try if that's the correct answer. Okay.
forget you can also subscribe to my channel.
All right, so congratulations, you managed to get it in 80% for this film review. Okay, so that's how you do a film review, and that is what we call from the aspects of authenticity lah. Those is what we call authentic film review. And when you are writing for CFR, film review is supposed to be like that lah. It has to follow the flow from the plot, the characters, and then the highlights, and after that, whether or not you want to recommend or criticize the film. Okay, let me just move on with the presentation that I have. Okay. All right, so we are done with that. Let's look at the question normally. Okay, task part 3. Okay, you recently saw this notice on the magazine. Okay, so when it's a magazine, you need to consider who your audience will be. Okay, who your audience will be. And then what's the tone and style, and whether it's formal or informal, and also the tenses. Okay, and then have you watched any interesting movies lately? Send us your movie review. Okay, so the movie review, the vocabulary related to films could be genre, adjectives. For example, you are trying to describe the film, so it could be amusing, cliched, etc. And then say what you enjoyed about the movie. Okay, say what you enjoyed. It's the vocabulary to help you describe parts in a movie, beginning, climax, ending, etc., and elements in the movie, narrative, cinematography, etc. Okay, would you recommend the movie to your friends? Okay, grammar structure, I would highly recommend. It is well worth seeing. It's a boring movie. Okay, so that's how you need to use the structure for recommending the movie. Okay, so like I mentioned just now, when you are trying to write a film review, it's quite technical compared to perhaps writing a story. So if this is something of your passion and something that you familiarize yourself with, then go ahead and try. But if you're not really exposed to film review and stuff like that, better stay away from film review questions. Okay, so this is an example of a film review. Okay, Ola Bola is a Malaysian film directed by. Okay, so the first part of the film review is always introducing notable casts. Okay, who's starring in this film? Okay, so in this case, it's Ola Bola is a Malaysian film directed by Chew Kieng Guan. It is a sports film which stars JC Chi as Chow Kok Kiong, the captain of the national football team of Malaysia in 1980, and Bron Palari as Rahman, a would-be sports commentator and a friend of Chow's. Okay. And then the next paragraph, you are going to talk about a brief synopsis and a plot and one significant highlight of the movie. Okay, the film is set in 1980 and it is inspired by the true story of how the Malaysian national football team made it to the 1980 Olympics. It narrates the stories of the players who have to overcome obstacles and personal issues on their way to success. Its highlight is the match between of Malaysia and South Korea, in which Malaysia wins and qualifies for the 1980 Olympics. Okay, the next paragraph, what makes the movie stood out is that a special feature of the film is the careful attention that was given to detail in order to make the 80s setting look authentic and to help develop the characters' stories. Okay, but most importantly, it is a film which teaches us to never give up. Okay, it shows how important it is to put differences aside and work together to achieve a common goal. Right, and the last paragraph normally is a final verdict and brief recommendation. Okay, I found this film very entertaining. I think it should be seen not only by all sports lovers but also by anyone looking for an inspirational story. So remember, when you're writing film review, the first part of the lesson is that you are introducing the works of the movie, like who's the notable cast, the pelakon, the directors. Okay, and then the second one is a brief synopsis and plot and one significant highlight. So one event in that story that sticks with you. Okay, so what makes you still remember this particular highlight? And the next paragraph is what makes the movie stood out. Okay, so in this case is the careful attention to give it to detail. So it's 80s setting, look authentic, stuff like that. And then you move on to lessons. Okay, moral value of the story, and then the final verdict. Okay, whether you want to recommend this movie or not. Okay, and don't forget the title, For Football Fanatics. Okay, right. If you have any questions, just ask me on the live chat section. I will address them accordingly. Okay, right. Let's move on. That is a film review. So writing a film review, don't forget introduction, talk about the film, the title, the director and the cast. Paragraph 2, you talk about a brief synopsis of the film. Paragraph 3 to 4, you talk about comments of what you like or didn't like about the film, highlights of the film. And paragraph 5 is general opinion of the film. Okay, so that is a film review. But in your Form 5 textbooks, there is review as well, but this one is about holiday. Okay, so review could also talk about film. It could also talk about holiday as well. Okay, so we want reviews of holidays designed for teenagers. Okay, your review should include information about the place, the food, and what activities there are. Would you recommend this holiday to other people of your age? Okay, the best reviews will be published in our magazine. So again, you have to look at the stuff that they want, the place, the food, the activities, and it's mentioned about teenagers. Okay, and would you recommend? And it's going to be published in a magazine, so is the tone going to be casual, semi-formal, or formal? Okay. So when you're like writing a holiday review, you need to have paragraph 1, introduce the name or location, indicate review as positive or negative first. Okay, you indicate first in the first paragraph for holiday review. Okay, after that, for paragraphs 2 to 4, you need to describe and comment on the place, the food, and the activities. Okay, and paragraph 5, make your recommendation. Okay. So this is how a holiday review should look like lah. Okay, would you enjoy staying in a beautiful place with lots of exciting things to do? Yeah, so this is a bit of a rhetorical question and could be effective lah when you're writing a holiday review. If so, Tin Village in southern Spain is the perfect holiday destination for you. So it's mentioned here place and food, activities, and recommendation at the end of the paragraph. Okay, so that is a film review. A holiday review. Okay, so far, any questions? I'm looking at the live chat section. Any questions? No questions? Okay, all right. I think we can move on to the next part of the lesson. Okay, so the next part of the lesson is the article. Okay, you see this notice on the board outside the school library. Okay, write an article for Travel and Nature magazine. Tell us about the nature reserve or place of natural beauty that you know of. Okay, describe the place, what attracts visitors to it, and special features. Okay, you write us an article answering this question. Okay, so how does an article look like? Okay, again, it must have a title like the film review. Okay, a title that catches readers' attention, and you can ask rhetorical questions to start your review. Again, to catch readers' attention to actually wanting the reader to try to read your article. Okay, and then perhaps adjectives are playing a very important role in articles. Okay, so that you want to describe all the events, and you need to address the reader personally at the last paragraph. Okay, if you're a nature lover, Wulong is sure to fascinate you. Seeing giant pandas in the wild is a once in a lifetime experience. Okay, why not plan a trip there and see for yourself? Okay, so that is the article. Okay, now we are moving to report writing. Okay, so for report writing, okay, this is quite different from the report that we have in KBSM. Okay, so for report writing, you need to have to, from, and subject. So report writing is one of those genres that you need to use formal language lah. Before this is always a mixture of both, but in this case, you need to use formal language. So report writing for CFR, you normally have headings. Don't forget your heading. Okay, introduction. So introduction is normally what the report is all about. Okay, this report describes what we must do to improve the quality of the local TV channel, TV3. And then number 2, limit commercial break. So you need to talk about that in your second paragraph. And then, okay, more entertainment programs. Okay, in addition, we should add more variety to the daily program. Specifically, people have asked for more entertainment programs. Okay, and number 4, include special news. Okay, talk about that as well. And then the conclusion, you talk about the conclusion. Okay, so I think that when I teach report, even to my students, they will be having trouble with putting the headings. Okay, so what the trick that I tell my students is that just leave out the heading first. Okay, you just write the numbers first. You write your paragraph first, and when you are done with your paragraphs, then you look back at the paragraphs and think of the heading that is suitable for the paragraph. Okay, because sometimes headings can be very tricky to write about. So it's better for you to know what is it that you want to talk about, and then start write the heading. Start writing the heading. Okay. Okay, let's match the headings with its content. I don't think, okay, let me just find the material for this one first. Okay, so far I'm allowing 2 minutes of you to think of any questions that you want to ask on the live chat section. Please do so if you want to ask me any questions or anything that you want to know about CFR. Okay, let me find the material first. No questions? Nothing? Well, this is the first. No questions at all. No? All right. Okay, wait, let me connect with my material for this one first. Okay, there's one question here. When should I say used to do when I should say to be used to be doing? Okay, this one is depending on the context of the sentences. Okay, so used to do normally means that the things that you have done previously, but you no longer have done it, and it's normally is talking about a fact. We need to say that I used to I used to play for JDT when I was younger, so that is a fact. Okay, so can you say that I used to be playing for JDT when you were younger? No, because the whole idea of being a JDT player has already been done, over and done. So you cannot use used to be doing there for that context. Used to be doing is normally when you want to use the context of the whole progression of a verb. Means that it's a thing that you did in the past, but you did it in a continuous manner. For instance, if that makes sense, for instance, I used to be I used to be planning for my holiday when I was younger, but now I don't think that there would be a use anymore of it. Okay, so it's different from the previous one. The previous one is about the fact of you becoming a JDT player, and the last one, the second one, is about an action that you have been doing in the past, but you don't see any importance of it anymore right now. Okay, I hope I answered your question because that can be quite tricky, but that is a good question. Okay. Any other questions that you have, please do ask in the live chat section because I think that you guys have been very quiet. Okay, I do not know if you actually can follow my lesson or not. Okay, let me just share you with the screen now. Okay, let's try to do this together. Okay, number one. What do you think the answer for number one? Share your answer in your live chat section. Number one, this report is to inform and suggest the best shopping and culinary spots British tourists ought to visit in Naples. Naples is in Italy. The data presented in the report was gathered from local citizens as well as former visitors. Okay, what headings do you think are suitable for number one? Share your answer in the live chat section. Your answer for that one. Is it recommendation, budget-friendly eateries, where to find the best souvenirs, or introduction? What heading would that be? Okay. Looks like we have quite a number of responses already. Okay. Introduction. Okay. Let's look at whether that's the correct answer. Very good. All right. How about number 2? According to local residents, the best gifts can be found in small shops around Porto Alba Road. Visitors can find anything from classical gifts as cards or t-shirts to strange and bizarre presents like pasta in various sizes, forms, and colors. Moreover, these local shops are rather inexpensive, so they are ideal for students on a limited budget. Okay, so what's the answer for this one? Is it recommendation, budget-friendly eateries, or where to find the best souvenirs? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your previous answer. How about the second one? What's the answer for second one? Okay, Haika said budget-friendly eateries. How about the others? What's the answer for your number 2? What do you think they're heading for number 2? According to local residents, the best gifts can be found in small shops around Porto Alba Road. Okay. What's the answer for number 2 besides the one that Haikal gave just now? Okay, Adeline said where to find the best souvenirs. Okay, most of you answered budget-friendly eateries. Let's look at the correct answer. It's actually where to find the best souvenirs, okay? Because again, it's talking about the best gifts can be found, okay? Classical gifts such as cards or t-shirts, okay? Right, number 3. What's the answer for number 3? Famous Borini for its strong coffee, tiny coffee shop that everyone has to visit. Okay, what's the answer for this one? Number 3. Okay, answer number 3. Is it recommendation or budget-friendly eateries? Haikal said recommendation. Any other answers? Number 3. Okay, let's look at whether that's the correct one. The answer is actually eateries because it's mentioned about strong coffee, typical Italian pizzeria, and then it's talking about bakery. So it's talking about eateries, tempat makan. And the last one is recommendation. Okay, all right. Thank you for your responses. Okay, let me just share the screen for quizzes just now. Okay, now we are headed to the last part of part 3, which is formal letter. Okay. Sorry. Okay, formal letter, we normally have greetings. Okay. Dear sir, dear madam, dear editor. Okay. We have introduction. Okay, and then we have paragraph. Introduction, normally purpose of writing. If it's to respond, mention it here. Meaning to say that if you have seen perhaps an issue that was raised in a newspaper, you can mention it here lah in the introduction. I'm writing to let you know that in response to the blah 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 blah. Okay, and paragraph 2 to 3 focus on the task and provide reasons as well as examples by making suggestions. Paragraph 4 summarize points and end letter politely and sign off. After that, yours faithfully and yours sincerely. Okay, those are the formal letter lah. Okay, so this is how a formal letter normally look like. Okay, dear sir. Okay, so that is a formal greeting there. I'm a concerned resident and I'm writing in response to your article about Okay, Mayor's plans to build a modern shopping center in Clifton Park. So normally you mention the purpose of the letter and as a response here in the introduction. And then paragraph 2 and 3 is the points, opinions, and reasons, as well as examples. And then in conclusion, you summarize all points and you sign off here in the last part of the letter. Okay, we have a few questions in the quizzes here regarding formal or informal language. Okay, let's do this together, shall we? Is it formal or informal? Dear Sir, Madam, Miss, Mrs. XYZ. Okay, next question. Okay, opening paragraph. How are you? Is it going? Is it formal or informal language? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Thank you for considering my application. I'm available for an interview. Is it formal or informal language? Okay, right. Right, let's look at the last question. Okay, all right. That's an informal language. Okay, so I'm about to end my session here, and I need like a poll because I think that because of the internet connection, okay, because of the internet connection, you didn't manage to watch part Okay. If you miss whatever I'm saying just now, because of the broadcast problem in the beginning of this program, do you want me to repeat part one? Can you answer in the live chat section? Yes. No. Or you're just too tired already. You didn't want to. You don't want to hear part one. How about you, Teacher Sue? Should I repeat part one?
I think it's okay. All right,
Okay.
because we have the recording part of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it shouldn't be any problem. Okay,
Okay.
right. Because most of them they miss out only the first part.
Yes, only first part. And the second part until the end, most of them are here already.
Yeah.
Okay. So no need to no need to repeat. Okay. So I'm just going to let Teacher Sue know who's leading for the quiz days. Okay.
Okay.
Let's look at who's the. Let me just end session. Okay. Okay. Let's look at the leaderboard. Who's the top scorers? Okay. The first is Umaira.
Okay.
And second is, I'm not sure, Muhammad. And then the third one is Kila. Muhammad Haikal is the second
Yeah,
one.
Haikal. I think Haikal, and then Kila. I think is Akila. I think Akila from Bitara. I think.
Okay. All right. I think that should wraps up my lesson for today. Okay. I'm just going to pass it to Teacher Sula after this.
Okay. All right. Okay. Before we wrap up for today's session, Ms. Atika, okay, I would like to thank all the students. Okay, so as for today, according to my calculation, we have about almost 60 students for today. Okay, which is a good number of participation. Because according to Madam Safinas just now, there are a few of them. Maybe because in the beginning just now we have problems, so they did not join. Maybe some of them join at the later part. So don't worry so much, okay, boys and girls. We have the recording, so we will share with you. Okay, I would like to express my gratitude to Miss Atika for helping students of SMK Dato Ahmad Arshad, and hopefully with all the sharings, with all the notes that you have shared with the students just now, even with the teachers, okay, hopefully it will help them to improve a lot in their writing, and also they will be able to apply during the examination, which is going to be soon for them.
Yes.
Okay. How about in Sakti? Have they started with the exam?
Exams for the mid-year done, but for
Oh.
the second part of not yet. Not
Oh,
yet. We
okay,
haven't.
okay. All right. Okay. So thank you very much again. Okay. So thanks a lot as well to all the students. Okay. So anything else, Miss Atika?
I think I should just say that first of all, apologies for the first part. I didn't know what's going on. I think it's the internet connection, but
Yes.
I'll try my best to make sure that the recording for the first part will be up on my YouTube channel. So for those of you who have actually who missed today's session, you can always watch them on YouTube. It's the same link. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. See you
Bye.
again. All right.
All right.